Is this Hi, Chris? How are you?
I'm well. Is this thing on?
It's on.
It's
We're
on.
live.
We're on.
I I'm feeling so lost, brother.
Share.
This episode is season 3, episode 21. I'm Roland Chidiak, your Chris Clough.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, this is our 110th episode. I can't believe we made it to 110. Like, what an accomplishment. Well, how come we were so busy this last week or the last 2 weeks that we didn't even have a chance to talk about how we should celebrate the 110th episode? Like, should we have had like a guest come on? Should we have somebody kind of like moderate our discussion for the 110th? We totally dropped the ball on this one.
We didn't promote it. It's true. We didn't promote it. I think bringing a guest on, I don't know. That's just like, I don't know if I would feel entirely comfortable bringing anyone into this mess. It's like people being able to see the backstory of how we do. I like that we keep it small and intimate, But yeah, like 110 episodes.
We finally reached that milestone.
It's a benchmark. It's definitely a benchmark.
Every podcaster that I've ever heard, no, that's not true. Every podcaster that I've ever heard that does an EDU podcast, this is the big one, man. And we dropped the ball, totally dropped the ball, didn't advertise, didn't consider how we would celebrate this milestone episode.
I gotta be honest, I wouldn't even know how to necessarily promote that. Like what?
We could have reached out to the other people who have hit this podcasting milestone in EDU and taken a lead from them, or like, put together some kind of committee, some kind of 110th committee to figure out how we make this thing like the bomb.
Part of it, and this is, I think, at the heart of that, what would have been really challenging is then we also see, but then we would have had to also lay out. We would have also had to lay out what we're going to talk about. And that's challenging. That's challenging to sort of like map that out all ahead of time and have that all coordinated, and to have, I don't know, questions, content, stuff you got to talk about.
Right, and we don't roll that way.
But let's go back. Let's roll the tape all the way back then, because I think it's always good. It's always good to go all the way back to the beginning, back to the roots, trace out the whole path to now. So, little did you know that when you started throwing down Roland Chidiak Connects, that we would arrive here. Like, when you think about that time in your life, and you think about what you're putting together now with DeCodEd, what's the first thing that comes to mind? We won't even do the highlight reel, but what's the first thing that comes to mind if we say that was then, this is now? You had Roland Chidiak Connects, now you got DeCodEd. You say what?
Fluency.
Nice. As in more or less?
As in more in terms of automaticity. Now you got me using more than one word, man.
That's
automaticity,
sexy.
Fluency, comfort,
Yeah.
a skill set that allows you to deal with almost anything that comes your way in this context.
That's good.
What about you?
That it's utterly ridiculous to me that I'm even doing this stuff. Utterly ridiculous.
What stuff? Like
this stuff?
Podcasting?
Yeah. It's a funny thing. To when I think back on how I, playing with squirrels, which isn't completely. It's like dormant right now. But it's when I think back on starting squirrels, and you know what, I started. It was so important starting squirrels, and this is the starting a podcast. When I started podcasts, it was really important to me to make sure that I was kind of getting content out there every week. It was so to keep that schedule. It was important to get the guests booked. It was important to have all the questions mapped out ahead of time. It was important to hold to the 60-minute time frame, 45. Maybe it's a 37.5 with a intro and an outro and bumpers in between. Like it's so important to have that stuff. And yeah, that's what surprises me, because I just could because when you don't do that, is it even a podcast? Yeah, we made it to 110 and we don't have any of that. So that's what kind of surprises me, right? Like that's not you open up to the middle of the social media dictionary under P, letter P, and you find the word podcast. There's no pictures of you and me sitting there, I don't think. Or maybe there is. So that's what I'm thinking about. The then to now. I think in some ways there shouldn't be something like this. But that's what makes DeCodEd so special, right?
Yes.
That's what makes it so special. Because we exist in that niche space of specialness.
Oh, we're special.
Niche space.
Niche space. I like that.
Space,
well, happy 110th, Chris.
I appreciate that. You too, Roland. You too.
And because of that, I'm going to celebrate today.
Okay.
I'll probably have an Orange Crush.
Nice.
And you know what? Today at my son's hockey game, we have to get there so early that sometimes the parents do like a tailgate. Somebody brings a barbecue. There's beverages. There's food. Like it's like a buffet outside. And so today we're having one. And when I'm there today, little do the parents know that I'm going to be celebrating the 110th episode of DeCodEd podcast while I'm with them enjoying some food and crush.
You should tell them. You should tell them.
You know what?
You should tell them. Wait, let me get a piece in, because often when we hit these milestones in our lives, we don't often push it out there and tell everybody how important they are. So, it's that, this ain't ego. This is life. This is community. This is sort of saying, you're important, we're important, but mainly I'm important. And you got to be dropping that right into that hockey sphere and letting them know, like you're rocking the edgy famous stuff. Like that's,
hey,
it's key. This
is Edu Celebrity with the work. We're doing the work here. And okay, you think about that.
I do. I like how you drop that, and I'm gonna.
We have to
like
move
that
into
piece.
that next. We have to move into Edu Celebrity with the work.
I'm gonna make a sketch note here for a second.
And Edu Celebrity without the work. But let me just say one more thing on this, and then I'd like to move on if it's okay with you, because I can't party too hard. I'm an old man.
No, that's okay. I think you got to know your limits.
Now that we've
podcast within it, and then move on.
Responsible podcasting.
I like that.
Listen, we hit 110. It crept up on us. We didn't celebrate it properly.
We could barely do the addition before we started talking. That's how surprising it was. How many times I wrote down on here, I'm like, okay, 16 plus 46 plus
That's right. You were doing the numbers. Yeah.
I have it written right here. Look, because you know what? One of the things I got to say, we got to be authentic, right? So there we go. Right there. I was adding it up. There's the math. So, rocking the authenticity here. That
you're putting in the work.
Well, but that's what people have come to expect from us. That's what they've come to expect. The authenticity, the clarity of thought, the digging deep. Both of us just floating on this EDU philosophical boat of life, and we're figuring stuff out sometimes.
Okay, so this is what I want to say before we move on. I want to go, can we jump right into Edu Celebrity with and without the work, please? I'm begging you.
Okay.
And I might go a little dark, so
okay.
Prepare yourself. Okay, now that we've hit 110, and it just came upon us, we didn't even consider it. Didn't plan anything really special. I want to make sure that when we get to 206, we really make sure that we go hard on that one. Okay, so
Holy
110,
crap.
we missed the boat on
Can you
110.
imagine?
206 is gonna be friggin' awesome.
Okay, go on.
Like
Sorry.
for 206, I want to have like maybe I'll have balloons here. I might even eat a piece of cake while we podcast. That's all I want to say about 206.
Do you know how good my sketch note's going to be for that one? Like,
Oh, it's gonna be
I won't even be able to, like, oh my God, I got to get new markers.
for 206. I'll even pay for half of them.
Okay. Sorry, I
206
cut
is
you off.
huge.
Go.
206 is like, do we know any podcasters that have hit 206?
You know what? They should be talking about it. I don't know why they're not talking. We know lots of podcasters that do this stuff. They totally should be ramping up for 206.
Okay.
For no other reason than, you know, the you're important, we're important, but mostly I'm important. Like that's
Yes, and you have to let everybody know. You
Go
have to
finish
say,
your
look,
thought, though."
listen, people, I'm hitting 206 in my next episode. You need to know how awesome that is for me and Clough, because there's two of us here.
That is.
Okay, sorry, before we
But
jump
I'm
into
okay. You put you before me. We're important. You're important. But mostly I'm important. You say that enough times, and you
That's
get
what
the flow.
That's what I like about you, that you just let me
I like a
be
lot
me.
about you. I'm gonna have to just Sorry.
You just let me be me. And when I, like, sometimes I gotta admit, sometimes I'm out there and I talk about this podcast. I talk about it as my podcast, not ours. So I'm like, people talk about podcasting. I'm like, hey, I have one. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's called DeCodEd Podcast. What's it about? Well, it's about two dads, elementary teacher, secondary teacher.
But you don't name me, right? Like you don't name me
but then they get
because I don't
confused.
name you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, dude, I'm fine with that. I say it's all me.
They
No
get
offense.
confused. No, none taken.
Yeah, cool.
But they're like, what do you mean there's another guy? I'm like, there's another dude. We do it together, my podcast. After the confusion is gone with them, it's all good. But you don't mind, right? Like, you're good with me just pretending this is mine.
Do you know how important it is for you to self-promote? Like, you can't even begin to understand how important it is that you rock your I'm in love with me t-shirt and just no looking back. No looking back. Like 206, if I don't even make it to the podcast that day, it totally makes sense because I might not show up for it. I might have something more important to do.
You're starting to bring me down now because
What?
as you talk about self-promotion
Yeah.
and me just thinking about me, it upsets me that now that you're talking about this, I'm reflecting on my Twitter feed. I rarely just push the same thing over and over again all day long. Like, I rarely just talk about me and what I do at work, like solid.
Jeez, dude.
I might need to step up my game before 206 because I need to push. I need to push myself.
You know what you need? You know what you need to push? You need to push the to be honest button. Like, buddy, you know, we did an episode on that. I have a sketch note. Somewhere about that. You know what? I'll just I'll tweet it out or something. I'll put it in like a random post on Insta just so people can kind of absorb it. But it is in here about the, you know, the to be honest, and you got to throw that down. Oh, yeah.
Well, this is the sheet of paper that I'm going to write down a few things.
Okay.
Number one, I'm going to write down we have to get to 206. We have to celebrate it because it's a major milestone after 110. The second thing I need to do is I need to start tweeting more about me. Like, everything's about me. People, like, they should be sending me money because I'm me, you know, not for no other reason. The third thing, now, man, I'm going from like major elation to like total depression in like a span of 5 minutes. The last thing, no, here, listen, I've got
sorry.
let me be honest here for a second.
Okay.
I need to hit 10,000
Good job.
followers
I'm
on
glad
Twitter.
you hit that button. I apologize. Let me be honest. In my opinion, you go. What are you going to say?
I need to hit 10,000 followers on Twitter just to feel good about myself. And what I need to do is start tweeting
20 would
out.
be better.
Okay, well, let's start with 10. We need to let the people like just slowly come into this, right? So
Well,
I
then
need to.
they're going to do it. You're going to pass by 10 so fast. So fast. I mean, go beyond it.
So I need to.
That's
start
just me saying that.
I need to start tweeting the, hey, I'm Roland. I'm a teacher. I want to be an edu celebrity without doing the work. So help me get to 10,000. Please share with your friends.
Dude, but that
Follow
is
me.
work. That is work. The work that it takes. Let me back off for a second.
That's not work to
No,
tell.
no, no. Wait.
Because I'm tweeting about myself anyway.
I know,
So it's
but
all good.
right, but the work to be that genuine is what I'm talking about. That you genuinely like you're throwing down like 10,000 followers would be so useful. Like that's the thing. And I think that's really whether we make it to 206 or the other, another episode 403. Like I can't even begin to think what we're going to do for 403. But
Mind
let's
blown.
say mind blowing. But 206, creeping up to 206, 206, lock it in, 20K followers. 206, 20K. 206, 20K. You laugh. But what's really important to this, with this whole thing about making sure that you got your clip up and that you don't get ratioed out, bro, what's really important is that you set the bar. You set the bar here and you tell everyone, I've set the bar here. And if you make it to my bar, you're awesome too. That's what's important.
This is getting serious fast, and I know I want to go to Edgy Celebrity, but now you got me stuck on like my plan of action.
Dude, let's walk this out because people
plan of action.
people are appreciating this content. So you go.
One of the things I'm going to need to do
Yep.
is start conversations that are kind of controversial, and then when they get hardcore, I need to step away.
Well,
I
you need to
walk
breathe.
away from.
Buddy, you need to breathe. Like, don't stay in there and sweat on screen. Do not, like, really, because especially you get to 20, 30, 40K followers, the last thing they need is to see you sweat. They don't need that. They're not. What value is in that, right? And then it's hard to hold your device while you're running, and you're sort of like when you're sort of posting out these things when you're on the move and you're saying, yeah, I just had this great thought because I've just, my cardio's up. Like you don't want the device to fall out of your hand, right? Because then the whole production value just goes like right through the floor. So I think that when you drop this stuff and you need to walk away from the conversation, bro, like you're doing that for your followers. You really are.
Okay, you're right.
It's a good way to show them too about reflective practice, because a lot of people don't know about that.
You know what else I have to do is as I'm walking away from whatever the conversation is that's happening that I've started that I'm not anymore engaged in, I need to rely on my 20, 30, 40K followers to defend me from people being mean to me.
That would be a kindness.
That's
that would
huge.
be a kindness.
I think they'll do it.
Well, because you've invested in them and you've been authentic and you've shared, just a little slice of you. And really they see themselves in you and you in them. We are important. You are important. So I'm important. It just keeps coming back to that. It comes back to that. I can't get that.
You got me going now. This is awesome. So 20,000 followers by 206.
Yep.
Start conversations and then take off when it gets heated.
I'm not sure which one I like better. 206 equals 20K. We'll work on the way to kind of get that into a hashtag.
Okay.
We gotta like.
And I'm not doing any work. We need to blow up my brand, get it out there, rolling Chidiac, without doing any work. I need to do that. And I'm going to depend on my followers to help me. Now, the whole book
takes a village.
I'm not
Takes a village.
I'm not with the whole book thing. But I'm sure I could sell something that has almost no value that people could find for free.
Here's the thing though, right? This is what you want to consider. People love mystery. They love mystery. They like thinking. So, and what's really important is that you put mystery with that, just season it with a little bit of fear of missing out, right? And you put
FOMO.
those, yeah, dude, you put hashtag FOMO. You put that together with that idea, like somehow you get people wondering, is the book better than the timeline? Is the timeline better than the book? Like you get people wondering about that, and buddy, you're going to be dropping into on-ed, every kind of Twitter chat for the next 10 years.
10 years.
Dude, you can get 10 years out of that easily. Easily 10 years. You start doing that now. You start doing that now while you're 22 years old. I'm just joking.
You got those numbers mixed
Yeah,
up, buddy.
I know. All the other numbers I've said so far are correct, though. But you start dropping into that rate now, and you think you're going to get at least 10 years legs off of this. At least 10 years where your message slowly saturates your market and the people and the followers and get people on board. They're just going to be going after your stuff. They're going to be hitting you up all the time. All the time. Dude.
But I won't have time to respond to them. Or at least I just won't respond to them because that's what...
But
When
the
you have
great...
20, 30, 40K followers, you don't respond to DMs. Are you crazy?
You know what you're forgetting, though?
Oh,
You know,
what?
they will. They
What?
will. They're going to connect with you every time. Every time you do a speaking engagement. Every time. They're going to be there, that front row, right? The people that, the platinum level at the front.
Platinum level, yeah.
Dude, the only way that would be, and you know what? Here's the other thing. Can I just throw
It down.
throw this out there? You got to be the first to rock the mosh pit at the front of your speaking engagement series. Like, let's be serious, right? Let's be serious. Post-millennial mosh pit.
Be honest now, Chris.
I'm being totally honest. The post-millennial mosh pit. It's going to be awesome. People will be so polite. Oh, sorry, I knocked your cappuccino. That's okay. I think you got it in my beard. Like, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And you know what? And people, they're going to line up. They're going to wait. Maybe you can figure out how to do sort of an encore. But I got to go back to the mystery, though. The FOMO versus the book. Because even as you're speaking to them, dropping in these kind of like cool, edgy, kind of vague references to, I don't know, other big thinkers. Because what people will want to know is that you're connected to these other big thinkers.
I need to hang my hat on some like real theory.
Yeah.
Like real, like, psychological, pedagogical. Like I need to find that research. I need to hold it.
Assessment?
And
Assessment, is that still hot? Like you want to go equity?
That's equity, diversity right now. That's huge.
Bravery?
That's huge. Bravery.
Bravery.
Courage.
Yep.
Courage.
I feel like we're mapping out chapters. Gotta
We
be
are.
honest.
We
Somewhere
are.
between FOMO and is it in the timeline or is it in the book? Whoa.
But you know what really gets me going? You know what really...
Lots. I love this. This whole thing is getting me going.
But now we're coming up to the tip of the peak here. You ready
Okay.
for this?
Paramount importance.
It will be the most epic experience to have people contact me to go onto their podcast, and I just kind of play them along. Like, I'm really busy right now. Hit me up in about a month.
But the
and
most
I'll let you know
effective,
if I'm in.
dude, the most effective level of play is when it's truth. You will be busy. You will be busy.
But even when I'm not busy,
But even when you're not busy, you're busy because you're thinking of your next thing. That's the thing. That's the thing that people just don't get. You will always be busy with thinking of the next thing. You can't get it out of your head fast enough. And it doesn't matter if nobody notices. It doesn't matter if you don't tell anybody because that's what you're doing. That is what you're doing. Always thinking of the edu next. Always.
edu next. Hashtag, buddy. Hashtag edu
Yeah,
next.
write that down. Write that down.
Hashtag edu next. I've
Yeah.
got two notes here. I've got my selfish
Yep.
notes that are going to help me
Yep.
get to EDU celebrity status without the work. And then I've got the podcast notes. Hashtag edu next.
You know it's important to know too. Like there's the whole there is an I in selfish. Don't ever forget that.
If I do, you'll remind me.
Well, I won't because
Because you're
That's-
selfish.
There has to be an I in selfish. Don't do the selfish where you think you have to include so many people in understanding what you got going on. There's an I in selfish for a reason.
I just need to hang my hat on a couple of things.
That's it.
And then just let it flow down.
That's it. And then the water that flows from your brow will be the nourishment to other new Twitter users.
The new teachers and the new Twitter users.
We need to go there.
But bro, that's where we're at, man.
Map it.
Because
map
the
it.
vets, they're tired. They've had enough. But the newbies, they're starving for the PD, right?
Like I
they
said.
They know that lifelong learning is the key.
The knowledge that
But
flows.
they don't know where it has to come from.
Well, but you know what? They do. They They just have to be a part of the 206 equals 20K. It's so simple. So simple.
Now,
And
how do I make sure what I'm doing other people don't map out and do?
well, I think a part of it is you kind of go into it believing there's an I in selfish.
Okay.
There's an I in selfish. And there's no me in ego. There's no me in ego. There's only an E, which in French, I think is the letter I. So we're back to I in selfish, which is fine. You don't have to worry about other people doing your content. You don't. You push it out, you connect, you let people know its relevance, you let people know.
FOMO.
Yeah, or you don't let them know. That's true. You can make a vague reference to sort of like vague but poignant. Hand gestures are good too. When you're sort of using your videos, but actually we have to talk about videos too. But let's just go.
I'll write that down. Videos
Yeah,
and Edu
videos
Celeb.
and Celeb. Okay.
Okay.
Let's deal with the new teacher experience.
Yes.
New teacher experience and how. See, I want to say we. I don't know if we should talk about my sort of like contribution to this, but let's be honest. Like, I like that we're kind of figuring out your stuff so that I can be a little bit more competitive and say how my stuff is different. So can we just kind of keep working on like you for a moment?
Yeah, don't worry. I'll cut you off if you try to talk about yourself.
Beautiful.
Let's just
Beautiful.
stick to me.
Okay, so
I have an issue with the new teacher thing. I haven't been a new teacher for like 17 years, so I
but
can't.
wait. But you know what? You know what's great? But you kind of are, because you're constantly learning.
Okay. So
I just have to say that, like, don't hit yourself too hard for that one, because you are constantly learning, which is kind of like renewal, which is kind of like becoming new.
But I can't play the. I'm in my first year, and you need to follow everything I'm doing because this is my first year, and you're going to be in your first year soon
Right.
too.
See,
Or
but-
you're in your first year, and don't listen to anybody else. You need to come listen to me. Because I'm in my first year and I'm podcasting it.
Yeah,
I'm going to vlog it. I'm going to blog it. I'm going to just blow the top off of that one. And FOMO, if you don't come listen to me about my first year, which, by the way, I'm going to stretch into my first 3 years, because you really don't learn anything in your first year. You need 4 years. So you call it your first year, but really, you max that thing out, man.
I always like to
That's
say,
a good 10K followers in that max out.
I like to say this year I'm in my first year of learning.
I like that.
Yeah.
That play on words.
Yeah.
I love it.
This year, and sort of, I'm going to go this year. This year, I'm in my first, because hand gestures are important, first year of learning. And then you just kind of go with that, right? So you can, like I said, I like the decade kind of frame, because it might take, sometimes followers, they're busy too. So if they're not re-upping and sort of like spreading, I get it. They're busy. I'm sure they're thinking of their own thoughts. But it really is. It's important at some point to allow that to kind of saturate. Like I said, the knowledge from your brow, nourishing the minds of other teachers. But it takes a little while. I'm in the first year. First year. I'm kind of making the hand gestures up as I go here. I am in the first year of my learning. This year. Oh no, I mixed it up, didn't I? This year, I'm in my first year of learning.
Even though you mixed it up, people don't really think about what you're saying. They hear what they want to hear, and they run with that. So I'm like, you've got me hooked.
I can chop up the video afterwards. I can chop up the video just so it works. Yeah, because I want to make sure. I don't want to confuse anyone. I don't. I don't want anybody to be confused about my message.
Are you sure? Because that confusion is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, but that sort of
like, they keep coming back for more to try to get clarification.
Dude, come on, cognitive dissonance. Like, just I don't know. I don't know if that sells anymore. I'm not. Put it this way: the last thing that would help me get my word out, I and selfish, know me and ego, is getting that independent thought. Like, that's the date, dude. That's death. That's death. You got to watch that. It's like
those are the haters who are mean.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah, it's true.
That's why I need to hit 10K ASAP, because
far more comfortable at 20.
I know, but listen, you're jumping You're just jumping. Listen, I'm going to turn this.
But I'm
into
opening my
first meal.
parachute on the way down.
Oh, I'm growing wings, man.
I'm growing wings. I might be jumping. I might be jumping.
I jumped. I'm growing wings, though.
I'm going to build my plane while I'm in
You're
the
gonna
air.
build your plane.
I
Does
don't
it
know
have
how
to be a plane?
I don't know. I was just realizing that that would be
Pick
pretty
a method of transportation that's popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking? Come on, get with it. You want the kids
Electric bike?
their electric bike, yeah, or
A
even
community shared electric bike that is owned by Uber.
I like it because you just hit like three.
Plus, it's
different.
ironic that people like ironic.
But just don't worry. If anybody calls you out, your followers will step up to the plate. You just
Well, we're family.
Yes, I forgot the whole family component.
Dude, we have to edit. We have to edit that out. Don't. That's important. I'm not drawing any more attention to it that you just said that family, you forgot. But you have to keep that at the forefront.
Okay.
Because I will tell you,
We need to defend each other.
Well, not only that, my kids keep coming back for breakfast, not because like, if we get upset, we sort of have a little argument, whatever. They come back to the table in the morning because we're family. They do what I ask them to because we're family. Like
You don't
all
ask,
this stuff.
you tell.
Yeah, right. But that's how family works.
And you hold that cereal over their head. The reason they need to come back to that table because you
Back to the
buy
nourishment.
cereal.
Back to the nourishment, right?
You buy the cereal.
I do. And by buying the cereal, I keep receipts.
I'm sure you do.
Keep receipt. Well, who did? That's what everybody does. You keep the receipts. It's so important for, my family to know the value, the sunk cost of the cereal. And, if I'm sitting at the table and 3 Cheerios fall out on the table beside the bowl, it's important to know that each one of those costs, 0.32 of a penny. And to be able to speak openly about that, well, no.
No, you have to because you're going to have to edit this part out. You ready?
Okay, yep.
The math angle. You know how many followers you get from talking about math and numeracy these days?
My kids love it. My own children love it when I talk about that at the table. They're enthralled.
And the arguments that come from the talk of numeracy, that's awesome, man. You light that up, you step away, you let the followers take care of the rest. They defend to the death. Okay, we wanted to move into EDU celebrity without doing the work. I think we're already there.
Dude, this is work. I know you're not talking about you and me.
Okay, well, how do we move from the work to no work?
So to sort of like, EDU mossing. How
do we introduce? Why am I saying we? Man, I gotta get that.
You gotta knock that crap out of your language. Yeah. I was and you know what? The whole time I was loving it. I'm like, dude, just is like giving me shout outs. Like, I'm not doing it.
But I have to give you some shout outs to keep it close.
Haha, you did it, man.
It worked.
Let me not do any work. And you keep saying we. I haven't said we once. Well, I did once, but even when I was saying we, I was really talking about me. So there's a little bit of marketing savvy there. Take that and run, dude. You can try. It might work for you, probably won't, but you can try that. That whole, me and ego and I and selfish. You steal that if you want. But I do really appreciate the fact that you keep saying we.
Well, it's important. Now that I think about it and I hang my hat on the psychology behind it, it's important that I do acknowledge you, even though you don't do anything for me, really. But it's important because you want to hear that you're important to me.
Yeah.
Right. I want you to feel like you're part of my family, but you're not sitting at my table.
I'm right now. I'm kind of peaking in popularity too. So it's probably good. It's good that we connect, right? We can help boost each other. That's
We
important.
have to.
Yeah.
We have to boost each other.
Ain't no boost unless we boost each other, man.
That's right. Now let's go back to the we thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to drop it every now and then because I need you to feel like you're important. I need you to feel that you're part of my movement, which really isn't going anywhere, but it's a movement and people want to belong.
Yep.
That's all Psych 101, man. Everybody wants to belong. So I'm going to bring you along for my ride. You know, the ride, there is no vehicle to take us anywhere, but we're still going for a ride.
On the overpriced electric community share bike owned by Uber.
There you go.
That comes off the tongue so easy. Sorry. You interrupted me, but go ahead.
Of course I interrupted you. If I didn't, you'd be talking all day about your stuff, and I don't want to hear about your stuff. I want to hear about my stuff.
I'm true.
So,
but we're like two stars in the same universe, just kind of like approaching each other. Like the light is just so bright. And
because we're so bright, we're obviously attracted to each other.
That's true. And then the next thing that we'll say, but then we repel and one of us goes for the moonshot. I don't know. I don't even want to get into that. You go. I won't interrupt much.
Oh, okay. You better not, or I'll let you know. So
okay.
Here's the thing. I need to figure out how to put out a great message and then have people do the work for me. Mm-hmm. Like I need to tell people, let's go back to the new teachers because it's huge. It's huge. New teachers is huge. I need to go to the new teachers and I need to tell the new teachers, I want to write a book about new teachers. And I need you to email me stories about your first year in teaching. And then I'm going to pick the best stories that will work for me, put them together, or maybe get you to put them together for me. Yep. And then I push that out as a document or whatever you want to call it, some type of media for new teachers that new teachers created for me to share with the new teachers as I'm on what somebody said. Don't want to acknowledge them. As someone said, this is my first year of learning this year. And therefore, now, does that count for me not doing any of the work and getting to Edu Celebrity status?
Dude, I think you just... Is that it? That's crowdsourcing is collaboration. It is. Crowdsourcing is collaboration. Now, often...
I never thought of that.
Well, because here's the thing. Here's the popularized version of this, that somehow collaboration has to include everybody. So in collaboration, there is an I in collaboration, but I like to take the I out. I like to be the I out of the collaboration, and then to be able to support other individuals collaborating that are my source. They are a crowd, and then I can, once I come back into the collaboration, which is really at the end of collaboration, like it's in the last few, like I almost wish that it was collaboratoni. So the I could come right in at the end of collaboration. And if I come in at the end of collaboration, then I can make it all work. I can make it all work. So
you're going to cut out my idea, right? The idea of getting the new teachers to send me information about their first year so that I can pick and choose the stories I like. Some of them have to be kind of sad, right? We gotta get people to stop thinking, start feeling.
We could do some edits.
Okay, but you got to edit this out of the podcast, right?
We have the tools.
Because I don't need people to hear this.
Well, we have the tools to sort of, make sure this is, because part of really what we're trying to, I think in a lot of ways with the podcast is to make sure that it stays on message. It stays on message. And like if we're looking at that 10-year span, where we start is really important, but maybe not as really important is that we're relearning again for the very first time. So I kind of like the idea, like maybe we keep this, maybe we don't, maybe we keep people wondering. I don't know. But I like the fact that the most important thing about staying on message for us is that we can change the message whenever we want.
Good point.
Yeah, that is. Okay. That is a good point. And if I had a mosh pit right now, if there was a mosh pit down front here, it'd just be like, yeah, here's your, yeah, yeah. Here, don't bump my coffee. Like everyone would just be like rocking it in the mosh pit. We've said a lot. We've said a lot.
We have said a lot.
I'm gonna give you credit. I'm gonna give you credit because I think you've earned it.
I appreciate the credit, but what I really want is for you to step up when people are being mean to me.
Oh,
I need to step away from those conversations on social media, and I need you to come in and to defend me.
yeah. See,
And don't think too much.
No.
Whatever they say about me, don't think. Just feel
yeah,
and
you
respond.
know, I'm gonna be there, but I'm probably busy that day. I'm at, not that I don't want to be there, but I'm. It's just it's hard. It's hard.
Should I ask you next month to see if you're less busy?
Yeah. DM me.
Okay.
DM me. You know, yeah.
We need to shift
Well,
gears. I
sub.
need to shift gears.
So you know what? Do me a favor. Subtweet me. Just send me some subs, some screen caps of what's going on. We can do that. You know what? I'll figure out a way to make it about me. And if I make it about me, probably somebody will figure that it's important. So best to do the subs though, because like it for me, see if I get the pics of the stuff that's going on, it's kind of important for me to distance some of the beef or the diss that's coming your way. Like I don't want the direct path to you on that. I think it's better. It's probably I gotta be honest, it's probably better for my followers if they have just a little bit of comfortable distance. Because comfortable distance means that it's kind of it's perspective. That's what I like to call it. That's perspective. Objective perspective. It's the OP. And as long as you can keep the OP hashtag, as long as you can keep the hashtag OP, then that means that your comments and when they provide feedback, it'll probably be more valuable because you won't feel like it's so emotionally centered in your suffering. It's about their suffering. So they get distance and you get distance, and then we can all move. Remember the collaboration. The I comes in at the end. So I'm thinking more important.
That was a mouthful, man.
Came out real smooth though, didn't it?
It did.
Yep.
It did. And I tried not to think too much.
No, I don't, dude. I do not need you being deeper than me. Believe me, when I speak to you and I share my thoughts, I don't expect you to get it. I don't.
Okay.
It's too much. It's too much.
We need to move on.
Okay.
I need to move on. I only have about 10 minutes left in this episode.
And I know that every one of those 10 minutes spent with me will be valuable. So, dude, let's rock it.
Okay, so have we basically covered edu celebrities without doing any work?
Edu Next, a little bit
Next.
about the new teacher experience. Our path to this, like a little bit, a little bit of you, a little bit of me. So
you wanted to talk videos.
Oh, I'm just thinking the whole when you're considering how I kind of go back to the speaking engagements, right? And
I don't want to speak in front of people.
You don't have to. Dude, you get streamed in. You get streamed in. So it's the greatest part of that is like you get that key video to share, that key video moment that just crystallizes, like so easy to crystallize that very specific phrase or that thing that sort of like that's going to unlock people's thinking. And really, the greatest thing about the video stuff is like, hey folks, great to see you. I'm happy to be here in Idaho. And it's like the dubbing part is important. And I think if I make a suggestion, you'll notice I'm going to give you a pro tip here. You see how, so right here, like it's how I can kind of do this. Hey folks, it's great to be here, like in Idaho. You couldn't even tell that was dubbed, right?
No, not at all.
See, but that's the power of the video. You don't even have to show up.
Okay.
And believe me, I'm not harshing on Idaho. I'm not. There's no Idaho harsh there. Again, just pro tip.
Here's another pro tip.
Okay.
You're lucky I'm even sharing this with you, but I have to give you some nuggets so that you stay connected, right? If I never give you anything, you're not going to want to stick around. So here's a nugget, piece of some value for your time. So I've got this. So I get streamed in The dubbing's good. It all works. But I also, on the side, I need maybe 2 or 3 other videos that I can sell. Like, I have to offer, so my main talking video will be used with the dubbing for the different experiences I participate in that I'm not actually going to go talk to people. But then I need some stuff on the side, like for $39.99 this month only, you can learn more about what's helped me get to Edu Celebrity Success. And then once they pay the $39.99, I send them a link, they watch a video, which is slightly different than the video that I'm using, the live stream video, and then make a little bit of cash there. But more importantly, it's not really about me making the money, because if it was about me making the money, I would probably charge $89.99 US, right? Like, really, let's be serious here. I'd be charging $90 US, but really I'm going to charge maybe 39 US or 39 Canadian, depends. So I give that to them for that money. And for me, it's not really, I mean, I do like the money, but it's more that I'm providing something to somebody. There's value there, and people want it, because a lot of these teachers, especially the new ones, they're looking to learn. They want to learn. They don't know how to surf the net properly yet, so they're not going to find the free stuff. And I don't want to talk too much about the free stuff, but I want those little nuggets. So there's my advice to you, if you ever decide to take that route, is you got to make some things on the side that you can just push those out. You know what I'm saying? And
we know educators, they love to spend, a good chunk of change. They love spending chunks of change on professional development, and I think it's important for them, used to be me, but not so much anymore, to feel like their ideas, their amazing, powerful, cool ideas are supported by a big thinker. It just it takes their great idea and puts it here. But when they go from here to here, there's say, here's $50. So they kind of they're willing to pay the $50 just to kind of take their confidence from here to here. And that's so important, because your confidence hits here. And then what the heroes do, the EDU sort of heroes, they do this. They go higher. And when you go higher, then that person says, my ideas are okay, but if I want to get to that next big idea, I'm going to pay another $50.
Okay, but you're forgetting something.
Tell me.
So you go higher.
Yeah.
I go higher.
Yeah.
But you also have to move the target. Sometimes you don't even have to. You could go here and then just move over here.
So it's over here. It's where do I pay my $50? Oh, there it is. Okay, right. Now I go up here, and then you go over here.
So you don't always have to go vertical. You don't always have to get vertical.
The lateral
movements as well.
Laterality.
Because if you establish yourself here for a particular topic, and you need to shift because people are not jumping vertically anymore.
The moving target.
Shift to something different.
The moving target. So engaging.
Target. And then at the end of this,
and there's a lot of good work being done in assessment on moving target too. So that you can do some sort of, that's huge. It's huge.
But then you're not known for one thing. You're not a one-trick pony anymore. You're known as a generalist.
True. You're totally building your plane.
A many-trick pony.
A many-trick pony. A plane that's being built with differentiated parts.
It's all hooked, man, on the big thinking and good pedagogy. You have to, because there's always going to be someone's going to call you out. And sometimes the people that call you out, their arguments are clear, they're articulate, they're based on something. And that's another reason.
I always say, and I always say, I appreciate your thoughts.
Yes,
I appreciate your thoughts.
You have to.
When I'm either, if I'm dropping that on Insta or if I'm putting that on Twitter, I appreciate your thoughts. I'll put, I say it a bunch of different ways. I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate your thoughts. And I write it all those different ways on Twitter, and I think it's key to sort of personalize my feedback to the people that are willing to spend time in my space. They're willing to spend time with me, helping me to sort of promote me. And yeah, I appreciate your thought. I actually I have a text shortcut. If I do hashtag I have it set up on the like the auto complete just right away, because part of it is if I need to get to the next conversation, so I have to make sure that I'm not sort of like becoming inauthentic, which sometimes if I answer too quick or I answer too slow, then the whole, I have two of them. If I put it's I appreciate. Sometimes every once in a while it's the IR, and then it's I really appreciate. But I really appreciate your thought. I really appreciate your thoughts. All those different versions, they translate so well over socials.
You
And people
can't
get
just
it.
you can't just type it though. You got to do the video message too.
Yeah. Once in a while, I get to video.
Mix it up.
I'm pretty awesome at it, but it's not my forte.
It's okay. It doesn't have to be your forte. You just put it out there, and then people will come, and then it becomes your forte, because what they're not getting is that as you're doing it, you're learning it. They just come to you thinking you know it, and
Yeah.
you're like, you don't know it, but you're learning it as you go along because they think you know it, and that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the content, being awesome but not that great at something. So
Right. And then crowdsourcing it and collaborating
Yeah.
so that you can improve.
collaboratoni or
Collaboratone.
collaboratoni.
Well, I'm sorry, Chris, but we have to end our 110th episode. It has been a slice. I can't believe we went from having nothing,
Here come 206, yo. Next checkpoint.
206, and then 403 is like,
That's a dream.
it is a dream.
It's a dream that everyone should be a part of, and they will. They will. But yeah. Oh, I'm stoked. My day, I'm going to go do something very regular after this, something very usual, but I'll definitely post it out because I know people are expecting me to.
And you know what? When I'm with the parents today at hockey,
Yep.
I may just pull out the phone and do a quick video of how I'm celebrating my 110th episode of this podcast. I can't believe we did it.
We did it, bro.
Thumbs
We
up,
did it.
man. I can't
Thumbs
believe
up.
it. We started with just like, let's get together on Saturdays and talk about EDU, and we've made it to 110. Unbelievable. Okay, well,
I'm going to go check out some after. I will say I need wellness after this. I won't share. I won't share right away, but just to let you know, teaser, yo, wellness. I got to go do some wellness after this.
I love the mystery. I love it.
I know, eh? Got to keep it rolling right to the end.
Okay, bro.
Take
Have a
care,
good
man.
one. Hopefully we'll talk again next week.
Yeah, peace.
110, baby.
Fun. It's awesome.